Hi everybody, it's Danita from Integrity Coding. Happy New Year. I hope you had a great Christmas with your family. I want to take a few minutes and I guess you could call it encourage you. If any of you have seen my other videos or attended any of my online classes, oh look at that, the glasses. Yep, there they go. I do a lot of encouraging, and it's not fake. It's not like, oh, rah, rah, you can do this. The reason I say that is because there's truth back behind this. The truth is you can do this. You can pass your certification. I'm going to ask you to do something. This is what I did when I wasn't passing my exam, and I did this before I took my first exam. I wrote myself a letter. I sent myself a quick little email, and I said, congratulations, Danita, you passed your certification. I signed it, and I had my credentials right after it, CPC. And when I did that, some people call it acting as if. I called it taking a step of faith. I had to step out of the boat. Like Peter stepped out of the boat when Jesus said, come. I stepped out of the boat, and I acted as if I had already passed my exam. Now, I didn't pass my exam the first time, as I've already said. But I'm asking you to write yourself that letter today. We have a brand new year starting, 2018. And our family has a tradition that every year we write letters to ourselves. We sit as a family around our kitchen table. We write our goals for the upcoming year. We seal it, and then we mail it back to ourselves, but we don't open it until the following year. We then open it and see what goals we have accomplished. And I can't tell you how many times I wrote, pass my CPC. I'm going to pass my CPC. You know what I did? And then 4 months after that, I passed my next certification. And then I passed my third certification. And now I'm on my fourth certification. So I'm telling you, I am living proof that you can have what you say, but it has to be backed by this unshakable faith based on nothing that you see. Because you know, if you could base everything solely based on what you see, who would need faith? Faith is what we don't see and yet believe anyway. So I want to tell each of you, and don't say, oh, I'm too old. Well, let me ask you, in a year, how old are you going to be anyway? In a month, is it going to be any different? Why not be that next year older with a certification? Think about how great it's going to be, that certification. Not only are you going to be able to help your family, people that we all knew at Christmas time, and we said to ourselves, gee, I want to be able to do something. One year, my pastor said that to us. He said, how many people do you know at Christmas time that you would have liked to have helped, but you didn't have it to give? And at that, I've never forgot that. Getting this certification is going to open so many doors for you. And honestly, I worked really hard for the CPC, and because of that, AAPC does yes, the test is rigorous. It's difficult, but that student is within you. Just this afternoon, I was sitting there, again, at the hairdressers. I take my books with me when I'm studying for an exam and I know I have some free time. I take my books with me, and I'm reading over my study guide. And I said, now stop. I'm just reading. Could you ever just like read things and all of a sudden you're like, what the heck did I just read? So I stopped myself. I said, pay attention. What is this saying? I read it again. And it was as if I read it for the very first time that it finally, like the light dawned. So wherever you are going, if you know you have your exam coming up, take your books with you. If you know you're going to be alone. If you're going to have the kids with you, don't bother, because you probably won't have time to study. But if you know you have some alone time, you could be waiting to pick somebody up. Make sure your books are in the car with you. Take advantage of any free time that you have so that you can give this exam your all. You study so hard for this that your next certification, they get easier. And I know people say certifications are difficult. I'm just telling you from my experience, not only because I'm an instructor, but because I myself, I'm a student. And the way that I study for my current credentials and specialties is the same way I studied for my CPC. When I got something wrong, I don't move on until I figure out why. Why am I getting this wrong? Because I can instruct students in a certain way, but ultimately you know the best way that you learn. So when you get something wrong, I call it answering your own why. Why am I getting it wrong? And don't move on until you figure it out. You compare each of those codes. And more than likely, you're missing a guideline. Guidelines and understanding them, like the word separate procedure. How many times have we all seen that word separate procedure in the codes? Yet do we really take the time to understand what does it mean? If you go back to the very beginning of surgical guidelines, it tells you clearly what separate procedure means. Find out for yourself what it means. Today we did a study group and it came down to 2 codes, and one of them, they were both separate procedure codes. One of them was a separate procedure code, but they both had a modifier on it. And in separate procedures, it clearly talks about which modifier to use. So I'm not going to tell you, you dig in for yourself and highlight. I challenge you to go to surgical procedures when you're done watching this video. Okay, we're having our January course starting up. It starts on Monday evening, January the 8th, from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. This is a 16-week course. And at Integrity Coding, we keep our prices very, very reasonable. We have students that pay weekly. There's no interest accrued. But we do have students, before you enter that class, you have that class already paid for. We offer a 10% discount for any tuition paid in full. So if you're looking for a reasonable medical coding class, but it doesn't sacrifice on character and it's got gusto, you know, these classes are really good. They're live. They're not modules. They're not something that you sit down and you play it. And I'm not saying there's necessarily anything wrong with that, but I also like the live classes because students interact with me. We pull apart codes together and we answer questions, because there is nothing like when you see your students get those aha moments. So if you're interested in becoming a medical coder, think about our January class. If you're in the Boston area, I am holding classes here in the Boston area. It's an 8-week course for CPC exam prep. Also, we teach boot camps. These are CPC exam prep boot camps. We go through, it's 4 hours. We go through a practice exam and we pull them apart. We do between 35 and 50 questions. I give you lots of notes. These are the same notes that I got, and I had them written all over my books. So they're really, really good. All right, so that was your encouragement for today. Now I want to take you into cardiology, because cardiology is one of those sections. We're also, by the way, teaching, if you're interested in becoming a CCC, which is a certified cardiology coder, that course starts in February. It is a 4-week in-depth, detailed course. It includes the study guide. It includes the practice exam. It's $400 for 4 weeks. It's about 10 hours of teaching. And we're going to come right alongside you and help you pass this certification. That is a very highly sought after certification. So if you're interested, join us. Right now, I'd like you to open up your 2017 CPT books. We're going to go over a little bit of discussion on cardiology. On the exam, remember, it's 150 questions. Cardiology and respiratory are combined. So I can't tell you what questions you're going to get, how many, but for sure you're going to get some cardiology questions. I am also, at the end of this video, I'm going to show you the video that has helped break down things for my students. It's about coronary artery bypass, because when you see a picture with a code, you get the picture in your head and you'll remember it. You'll see exactly what they're doing. So let's open up our CPT books to page 208. Again, that's in the 2017 book. And this is talking about venous grafts for coronary artery bypass. I want you to pay attention to the guidelines. What is included and what is not included. What can you code separately and what is bundled in. You need to pay attention to that. So let's start reading. The following codes are used to report coronary artery bypass procedures using venous grafts. Highlight that word, venous grafts. Only. These codes should not, N-O-T, be used to report the performance of coronary artery bypass procedures using arterial grafts and venous grafts during the same procedures. When you're reading your scenario, we teach asking who, what, where, and how. You need to ask yourself, what are they doing? Where are they getting the grafts from? Is it venous? Is it arterial? Or is it combined? Okay? Next paragraph. Procurement of saphenous vein graft is included. You know why I say it loud like that? Because on the exam, when you get a scenario like this, and they have the procurement, if there is a code and they code that separately, if in fact they would, you know it's wrong because your guidelines is telling you it's included. So let's read it again. Procurement of the saphenous vein graft is included in the description of the work for 33510 through 16 and should not be reported as a separate service or co-surgery. To report harvesting of an upper extremity vein graft, use 35500 in addition to the bypass procedure. To report harvesting of a femoral popliteal vein segment, report 35572 in addition to the bypass procedure. When surgical assistant performs graft procurement, add modifier 80, assistant surgeon, to 33510 through 33516. For percutaneous ventricular assist device insertion, removal, or repositioning, see 33990 through 33993. So you have to ask yourself, how are they, what veins are they using for the CABG, for the coronary artery bypass? Is it vein? Is it artery? Or is it a combination? I want you to